this is Andrew Tivoff, the Wishmaster, and you are now entering Cinema Chop Shop. Enjoy your day.
The Cinema Chop Shop.
What's going on, everybody? It's Davey from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop, so park your ass right there. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, the subscribe button. Also, if you check the link below, you'll see a Patreon account. If you click it, you can become a member. All you got to do is try to recommend music and movies and trailers for me to react to, so click that damn link. Now, with that being said, I am here today to review a brand new horror movie that's coming to Shudder around April 19th-ish. And this movie is called Late Night with the Devil. Now, I originally was supposed to see this last week, but due to conflicting issues in my life, I could not see the damn movie. But I went and saw it this week. So this movie, Late Night with the Devil, is directed by Colin and Cameron Cairnes, right? These two directors, in my opinion, did a freaking fantastic job. And this movie is starring David. I don't know how to say his last name, man. But dude was in The Dark Knight. He was the guy that Two-Face was interrogating. Quick synopsis. This movie is about a man who's a talk show host, and he's competing with, like, David Carson. This movie is set in the 70s. And this dude is he's trying his hardest to compete with David Carson. He's moving up there in the late night television show, but he just quite can't topple him, right? He can't become the it guy. He can't become the number one guy. So what he ends up doing is he leaves for a brief moment, and when he comes back, he has this idea during sweeps week that falls on Halloween to do something where he would have he brings on a child who is said to be possessed by a demon, and apparently she has control of said demon. She can bring that demon out as well, and he's doing this and trying to exploit these people as a way to, finally get to the top of the ratings board and to keep his damn show running. But things turn horribly, horribly wrong. I'm going to leave it at there. Now, to me, the cinematography in this movie was fan-freaking-tastic. I mean, this really felt like you were watching like an old 70s show. Like, you remember when you watched Quentin Tarantino's Grindhouse and you were watching Planet Terror especially? It really had that old grainy look. This is exactly what this movie has. This movie has that old grainy look. And it to me, it did an amazing job at appearing to be a found footage movie from the 70s. Like, it felt like a mockumentary at times, especially the way that it opens up. It feels like a mockumentary. And every single actor in this movie does a fan-freaking-tastic job. I mean, everybody brings their freaking A game. It has a little bit of jokes in it, and the jokes don't really take you out of the movie. It has practical effects, which I'm always a fan of. And even it's funny because this really feels like you're watching a movie from the 70s, because even the practical effects look old. So there's not some practical effects, but some of their CGI or some of their actual computer generated stuff, it feels old. Like there's a scene where something happens and there's like a surge of energy that goes through, and it reminds me of like the guns from the plasma guns from Ghostbusters, right? It looks like that, and it just feels old. And I love the fact that it just feels like you're sitting down watching a movie from the era. It really feels like you went to a Blockbuster or some sort of VHS rental place and you just grabbed something off the wall and you saw a crazy cover and you're like, ooh. Because, I mean, that's how a lot of us horror fans became fans of movies, because we're just walking into a video store, we see a cover, we're like, damn, that cover looks crazy. Let me go ahead and rent that. That's how a lot of us got introduced to the movies that we ended up watching. That's how I ended up finding RoboCop. That's how I ended up finding Leprechaun, right? I never would have found some of these movies if we didn't just wander down the VHS aisle. And this is definitely one of those movies. It feels like one of those type of movies. Also, if you were looking for a new Halloween movie, like a movie to watch on Halloween, look no further. This is definitely it. This movie encompasses the atmosphere, the feel of Halloween. It's definitely something that you might want to watch at night. I honestly would recommend even going. You have to go to the theaters to watch this movie. Like, you don't have to, but I would definitely recommend supporting the people that made this movie. Again, every actor in this movie brings their A game. There's a lot of journeymen and women in this movie. Like, a lot of people have been in various films, such as like the next Karate Kid. And I know somebody has casting some credits for like Ant-Man and Wasp, I think. But aside from that, like I mean, these actors and actresses did a freaking fantastic job with this movie. I mean, like I said, the practical effects crazy. The girl, the one that plays the little girl that's possessed, Lily, right? The little girl's name is Lily. The actress that plays her name is Ingrid Torelli. Yeah, Torelli. And she does a really good job to me as a young possessed girl. And it's funny because my wife told me after the movie we were watching, she was like, "This is what the Exorcist believer wanted to be." And I can't even argue that. Like, this is exactly what the Exorcist believer wanted to be, and it just couldn't do it. You get what I'm saying? And even the makeup design, there's a scene where someone's face gets a little bit of makeup design. And like I said, I'm trying not to spoil anything. It just feels like an old school movie. I loved every aspect of it. You're watching the movie, like you're watching it as if they push play and you're watching the show on TV with yourself. Like, you feel like an audience member watching this show with, like, you know, like you're just at home cracking it, like it's midnight. You're cracked up, you popped open the TV, you're watching a midnight show. That's what it feels like. It embodies that. And then it's cool because you have like the little quick little cut scenes or whatever, and you have the behind the scenes footage where the people are talking, and it gives you a lot of insight to what's going on as well too. I think, again, this is one of the most creative, best horror movies that I've seen in a while. This is probably, I think this is one of my favorite movies probably since Hereditary came out. And that says a lot, because Hereditary to me was kind of like, it kind of breathed that fresh air back into horror. And I feel like this is also doing it as well too. Is this like a flawless movie? Probably not, but I mean, at the same time, it just depends on what you like. There's some people out there that don't like found footage. I can respect it. Some people might not like the vintage look of it. I can respect it. But the one thing that you cannot deny is that the script is pretty damn good. The acting is pretty damn good. And it reminds me of like Jimmy Fallon meets Rosemary's Baby or something. Like, you just got to watch it for yourself to understand exactly what it is. But I think the movie was done fantastically. And kudos to them for doing it. I hope that these directors get more gigs. And shout out to Shudder. Shudder has been picking up some amazing horror movies. Like, they've been going to these film festivals, and I don't know how they're picking it before they even debut at the film festival, but they're paying these people and they're getting the distribution rights to the film before the film starts to get all this buzz. So Shudder not only got this movie, right? Not only got this damn movie, but they also got In a Violent Nature. And both of those movies were freaking heavily applauded and heavily just praised at these film festivals. And I definitely see why. Late Night with the Devil is something that you're going to want to watch. I am definitely copying a physical copy of this movie. It is that damn good. And I mean, do I even need to do the grading system? But, you know, it's a staple on the channel, so we're going to go ahead and do it. Here on the Cinema Chop Shop, we grade movies in 3 ways. Count them 3 ways. Either you get bodied and sent to the bowels of hell, and I tell you, this movie is fucking basura, homie. Or I'll give you a big fat meh, which means it's monster menos, mediocre, mid-range, mid-grade, mid. Or I'll tell you that this shit gets spared, and you could go ahead and watch it, go enjoy it with your family, go take your teenagers, go take your wife, go take anybody that loves horror and go watch this movie. I'm going to go ahead and give this movie, I'm going to say that it's spared.
He ain't earned the death. He ain't earned the death at my hands. God's only man, spared by the butcher.
Yeah, you heard it, folks. I'm sparing this damn movie. The cinematography is fantastic. Every actor does his damn thing. And David D. Dumash, whatever his name is, Dumashian, the dude does a fantastic job in this movie. It's crazy watching him come from The Dark Knight and watching him actually become a star in a way. Like, he really showed his acting chops in this movie. He really showed that he has range and that he can really become not only a face in horror, but in just regular movies in general. So I hope he gets way more gigs than that. Also, the dude that makes Iron Bliss, he plays somebody in this movie. I don't want to tell you who he plays. He does a fantastic job in this movie too. He balances out everything really well. It makes you really feel like those Jerry Springer type things where they would bring like two people on opposing sides and sit them next to each other and have them argue live on TV. It feels like the Ricky Lakes of the time, you know, the Sallys, all of that. It feels like literally like daytime television. But I mean, I digress. Go ahead and stop what you're doing. And if you have a chance and an opportunity to actually go see Late Night with the Devil in theaters, I would recommend doing it. But I mean, if you can't do it, it is streaming on Shudder on April 19th. Please don't pirate this movie. Right, go ahead. Even if you got a Shudder does free subscriptions, dude. Just go ahead, sign up. They give you free day. They give you trials, 7-day trials, 2-day trials, 3-day trials. They give you trials all the time. So just trust me. Go screen the movies. Show some support for these actors and actresses and the directors behind this movie, because we always complain about how Hollywood doesn't have any original ideas, how every horror movie is a remake, how everything's not the same. And then here we got this movie right here that comes out, and it's a fantastic freaking movie. Stop bullshitting. Go watch the movie. Enjoy yourselves, and I will see you guys next time. You are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. Hope you guys are magnificent today. Adios, homies.
I want to play a game. Subscribe now. The choice is yours. You're now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop.